Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Went into the Naruto World, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Images flashed through Naruto's mind. From memories of days past to some memories he didn't even knew he had. Naruto saw some horrible things while the memories flashed by. He saw a blonde boy no more than 4 years at most crying in a lonesome corner. Various adults flashed past Naruto and he could only understand a few of the garbled words. "Get away from our kids, you monster!" they yelled. "The demon brat's here again," muttered some others. The amount of venom they said it with sickened Naruto, but this wasn't all that Naruto had to endure. But even as these painful memories flashed by, others ran through Naruto's head. Naruto remembered school life at some strange academy, a girl with pink hair sing his head into the wall, a man yelling at him for failing, an old man wearing some strange robes smiling at him, and finally a small fragile-looking girl sitting in the corner. None of these memories made any sense to Naruto, but he accepted them as if they were his. They were familiar though in a distant kind of way. Slowly but surely the flood of images stopped until he was floating in a sea of darkness. "Am I S?" Naruto asked, hearing his own voice echo throughout the vast emptiness, but what he didn't expect was another voice. "Was it a success?" whispered a harsh voice from the darkness. Naruto had no idea who this person was, much less why he was hearing his voice. "No. A complete failure," rasped a second man. At this man's voice Naruto froze. Not from realization but from fear. He didn't know why he feared this man's voice, but it froze him in place. The man's voice slowly disappeared from Naruto's mind, but the ordeal wasn't over yet. There was a rustling somewhere in the darkness and it was getting louder and louder by the second. Naruto slowly lifted his head and gasped. A white mask rushed towards him, dark black hair streamed behind the mask as it opened its mouth. Pure white fangs that sped with venom closed in on Naruto just as the darkness surrounding him started to disappear. Naruto bolted out of bed, face red with the blood rushing to his cheeks, and his hands white from grasping the bed sheets too hard. What was that? Naruto thought, still twitchy with fear. I remember, fangs. White long fangs attached to a white mask. They came at me from the computer. Naruto jerked his head up, expecting to see the computer and some mask come rushing at him. What he didn't expect was, well, nothing, absolutely nothing where his computer once stood. Sunshine streamed in from the window, shedding light on everything, but his computer was nowhere to be seen. Mom took my computer away. Now that's just crazy, Naruto thought, looking mournfully where his computer once stood. He was still shaken up by the mask incident from last night, but now he was faintly sure it was just a dream. Time to get up, Naruto said, yawning as he swung his legs around the bed. A second later he fell onto the floor because he misjudged the distance between his feet and the ground. Ow. Crud. Naruto looked up cross-eyed at the bed and was surprised to see that the bed was a lot bigger than he remembered. The top bulk bed was also missing. Slowly one of Naruto's eyebrows twitched. My mom did this all while I was sleeping, he thought, now angry as well as confused. That's it, Naruto muttered angrily before standing up and stomping to the door. Mom, what happened to my computer, and my bed, and, Naruto turned around and scanned his room for anything else missing. After a few seconds Naruto turned around, his eyes twitching much more rapidly. And my chairs, TV, DVD player, and most importantly, what the heck happened to all my clothing? Naruto shouted rapidly. There was silence from Naruto's mother's end. She's probably already at work, Naruto thought grumpily before retreating inside his own room. At least I have my mirror. Naruto grinned as he approached his mirror, anticipating his own manly figure to stare back at him. Slowly the smile turned into one of absolute horror and disgust. Arua! Naruto screeched, pointing at the mirror. A blonde boy about 12 years of age was staring back at him. He wore a cap on his head and his face was none too pleasant to look at. Who the heck are you? Naruto screeched as he whirled around, expecting someone to be in back of him, but no one was there. Gradually realization sunk into Naruto's thick head. No way, Naruto said slowly as he turned around to face the boy in the mirror. Naruto reached up and felt his cheeks. The boy in the mirror reached up and felt his cheeks. Naruto took the cap off his head and threw it on the ground. The boy in the mirror took the cap off his head and threw it on the ground. Naruto did the moonwalk and tripped on the cap. The boy in the mirror did the moonwalk and tripped on the cap. Holy freaking S. I'm the M in the mirror. Naruto exclaimed as he sprung up from the ground. His realization overwhelming his pain. This is a dream. It can't be real. And as he said this, Naruto pinched himself. This didn't turn out to be a good idea since it hurt a lot. Crap. That always works in the movies. Naruto cried out, rubbing his arms. Maybe a punch. Nah. Naruto thought, looking apprehensively at his hand in case it swung up and punched him like in most of his other dreams. Well, this is a dream, so I guess I should do whatever I want until this ends. Naruto suddenly grinned mischievously. A lucid dream. Cool, he thought as he approached the window. The first thing he noticed was the statue. Humongous faces were carved into the mountains no more than a mile away from him. Why does this look so familiar? Naruto asked out loud, but after a few moments of staring at the faces he decided they were of no importance. No use dwelling on it, he thought as he looked around at his new room. Cloth, maybe I have something in the drawers. Naruto drew open the drawers before closing them automatically with a disgust written all over his face. Nope, not cloth. Naruto sighed, looking around the barren room. The only thing he saw besides the drawers next to his bed was a closet. Last chance. Let's go, he thought as he drew open the closet doors. Success, he exclaimed as he drew out a bright orange jumpsuit out of the closet. Well, better than nothing, Naruto muttered as he slipped them on. Now he looked at himself in the mirror and once again he had the weirdest feeling of deja vu. Wait a second, he said softly, abruptly turning around and tugging the drawer open. Slowly, Naruto separated the metal forehead protector from the puke green goggles and attached them on his head. This time when Naruto looked in the mirror he gasped. Holy crap, I'm the kid from the anime. Naruto, he thought in disbelief, but slowly the disbelief morphed into excitement. Without a second thought, Naruto ran to the windows, wrenched them open, and jumped out of them. Yahoo! He shouted as the wind whistled past his ears. Naruto squinted his eyes as the ground rapidly approached him, but he didn't care. Adrenaline pumped thought his veins, giving him rush he hasn't felt in all his life. It was a dream and he was the main character. What was there to fear? A millisecond later Naruto landed on the ground perfectly fine. Oh yeah, Naruto said, making a peace sign. Physics say I should have SD. Well, I just proved you wrong, Newton. Wait, Newton. Was his name Newton? Naruto thought, looking confused for a second before shrugging. Only when he looked up to examine his drop did he notice that his window was only on the second floor. Oh, well, Naruto sweat dropped before slowly moving away from his apartment, whistling nonchalantly. Man, being in an anime isn't all it's cracked up to be. Who knew I still needed money here? Naruto shouted, looking pissed off and hungry. He had tired to take something called dango without paying and spent the last 5 minutes arguing with the owner of the shop. He probably didn't think his argument though when he blamed it on the owner for not putting up a sign telling him he needed to pay. What the heck are yen anyways? Naruto muttered out loud. And how come there's weird characters everywhere? Naruto thought, looking at the signs and feeling confused when he understood them. Adults only. What in the world? Naruto exclaimed. Shut up, shouted a random stranger from the streets. Go stuff yourself, Naruto retorted angrily, not in any mood to argue. For the next few minutes Naruto walked down the road in silence, starting to wonder how to get food. It was only the slight rumbling that brought him out of his thoughts. Oh, what now? Naruto groaned as he turned around. Two girls, stuck together cheek to cheek, were rampaging thought the streets in his direction. Naruto would have moved out of the way, but since he was half-starved and his reaction time was dulled, he didn't have enough time to get out of the way. Naruto was the only thing the two girls managed to screech before the three kids crashed into each other and tumbled into the ground. Naruto, you barker. Next time watch where you're going, screeched a pink-haired girl who was covered in head to toe in dust. Immediately the girl stood up and glared down on Naruto, who was still sitting on the ground, not really comprehending what was happening. Barker? Naruto asked, looked at the girl in confusion. Either I'm in Japan or, Naruto thought in realization, finally catching on to the so-called dream. Yes, Barker, idiot, whatever you like to call it, screeched the pink-haired girl. The second blonde-haired girl groaned a little before sitting up and rubbing her head. Geez, Naruto, seriously, watch out, the girl said standing up shakily. Who are you guys? Naruto asked, looking bewildered that they knew his name and talked to him like they were on first-name terms already. The blonde and the pink-haired girl looked at each other with raised eyebrows. I'm Sakura. This is Ino. Quit fooling around, Naruto, and get to class. The girl named Sakura shouted. Naruto winced at how loud the girl was. He was already starting to dislike her. Yeah, that's great and all, but I still don't understand. Who are you and where do I have to go? Naruto asked as he stuck a pinky in his ear without thinking. I think we hit him a bit too hard, Ino said apprehensively. She didn't look pleased at the prospect of explaining why Naruto had amnesia because they crashed into him. That's impossible. Naruto has the thickest head in the world, Sakura said confidently, but secretly she was worried. She didn't think Naruto was just joking around anymore from the look she was getting. Thick head. I know I'm a little slow, but I'm not stupid, Naruto said angrily before standing up and shaking his head. This is crazy. I don't have to justify myself to you two. For all I know, this is the last time I'll ever see you or dream about this. He cried out loud, but stopping when he noticed the looks on Ino's and Sakura's faces. Simultaneously, the two girls nodded their heads at each other. What are you doing? Naruto stuttered as he backed up. He knew it was a dream, but the looks on the girls' faces, it wasn't something Naruto wanted to see even in a dream. Iruka-sensei should be able to sort him out, Sakura said before the two girls took Naruto's arms and started to drag him to this person called Iruka. RNOOO. Naruto shouted as he tried to break away. Instead, he was surprised to find that the two girls were strong enough to keep on trudging along even though he was squirming. Naruto, quit it, Sakura shouted, punching Naruto on the head. Naruto whimpered before falling silent. He wasn't going to be punched again even if it meant being dragged off to Iruka. My manhood, my life, it's ruined, Naruto thought with twin rivers of tears streaming down his face as he was pulled into a rather large building. Beaten by two girls in a dream. Wow, I can't believe this, he thought sadly as he was abruptly dumped on the ground. Naruto, stand up and greet Iruka-sensei, commanded one of the girls. Which one? Naruto couldn't tell because they both sounded the same to him after the way they bickered on the way here. Naruto reluctantly stood up from the ground and looked up to see Iruka. It wasn't long before Naruto's mouth was wide open in reorganization. I know you, Naruto exclaimed excitedly. Iruka-sensei. Girls, I don't see what the problem is. Naruto seems fine, Iruka said pleasantly. Ino and Sakura protested, but Iruka ignored them. Go to your seats. I'll see if there's something really wrong with Naruto, he said, but still looking skeptical. Ino and Sakura both huffed before running off to decide who would sit next to Sasuke. Naruto, are you okay? They said you lost your memory, Iruka said, looking down at Naruto. There was a small amount of concern in Iruka's kind gaze, but Iruka was still doubtful. Nope, I'm fine. Those two are just messed up in the head, Naruto said enthusiastically. Iruka sighed in relief. At least that sounded like Naruto. Okay then, just go sit wherever you want, Iruka said before returning to the notepad that he held. His eyes narrowed a bit after reading the paper, but he didn't say anything. That's weird, but they're Hokage-sama's orders, Iruka thought, reading the sheet of paper. Well, this dream is getting a little weird, but I'll go along with it. Hopefully I'll get. Naruto suddenly stopped his train of thought when he locked eyes with a girl sitting near the top alone. The moment Naruto looked at the girl, she looked away with a huge blush on her face. That girl, she looks familiar, he thought as he suddenly bounded forward to where the girl was sitting. The shy girl looked up once again as if hoping Naruto wasn't looking at her. She was disappointed, however, because Naruto was running towards her with a determined expression on his face. The girl let out a squeak of surprise and looked determinedly in the other direction. Okay, I'm certain I know her from somewhere, Naruto thought, looking now a lot more apprehensive now that he was closer to the girl. Trying not to get noticed, Naruto sat down next to the girl. Hey Anno, Anno, where did that come from? Naruto thought in confusion before waving it aside as it no big deal. Ano. Ha. The girl suddenly turned around and looked at him with her wide lavender eyes. Naruto nearly fell off the stairs in shock, and apparently he showed this because the girl squeaked again and looked away from Naruto. Those eyes aren't normal. Sorry, I just wanted to ask, do I know you? Naruto asked before mentally slapping himself on the head. Even in his dreams he was anything but smooth around girls. She must think that was the lamest pickup line ever. He thought in dismay, and apparently the girl thought so too because of the surprise written all over her face. Naruto-kun, we've been in the same C class for over 5 years. The girl said, looking slightly wounded. Naruto smiled goofily and scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. I have this problem remembering faces, Naruto said, saying the first thing that came into his mind. My name's Hyuga Hinata, she said softly, not looking at Naruto. Hinata. Naruto gasped, looking at her with his mouth wide open. So that's why she looks so familiar. Wow, this dream is getting weirder by the second. Naruto chuckled slightly to himself as he finally noticed the resemblance between the two Hinatas he knew. Naruto-kun, please don't stare at me like that, Hinata said with a blush on her face while pushing her 2 index fingers together. She was nervous, no doubt about that. Naruto, who has shown no interest in her for all the years they have been in the same class, was now staring at her like a brain-ess idiot. Hinata would have squealed in delight, but she was too busy trying not to of shame. Sorry. I was just noticing how. Naruto suddenly stopped talking and looked away. Wait, is that a blush on Naruto's cheeks? Hinata thought, noticing the red tinge when Naruto turned his head. What's going on? I almost let that one slip. Better act my age or else, who knows what's going to happen in this dream. Naruto thought, but before he could ponder any more, Iruka called on him from the front of the classroom. Naruto, sit next to Sasuke. Ino and Sakura are having a difficult time deciding who would sit next to him. Iruka shouted, suddenly looking slightly ticked off. Ino and Sakura were both looking incredulously at their sensei before glaring at Naruto. Even though they both had each other's hair in their hands, they still looked mouse enough to K Naruto right there on the spot. Who's Sasuke? Naruto asked. Somewhere next to the two girls, a boy with dark brunette hair dropped his head onto the desk. I'm Sasuke Dobe, the boy said, glaring at Naruto. Oh, okay then. I'll see you later, Hinata. Naruto said cheerfully, even as Hinata blushed. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, looking at Naruto with interest. He's not acting like normal. And over the hills we go. Naruto sung as he jumped over multiple desks just get to his chair beside Sasuke. Or maybe he is, Sasuke thought, sweat dropping as Naruto smiled and gave him the peace sign. Oh yeah, I jump high just like a ninja in the show. Naruto thought, smiling widely as he sat down. Iruka had a tick of anger on his forehead but decided to look at the paper in front of him rather than yelling at Naruto. Man, Naruto, you're so troublesome, said a pineapple-haired guy as he ruffled his hair. Apparently Naruto accidentally clipped the guy's head while jumping down the desks. Sorry, Naruto looked at the boy for an answer. Shikamaru, man, you really are troublesome. You can't even remember our names. Shikamaru said, exasperated as he slouched even lower in his chair. Suddenly he jolted up as Ino plopped down next to him and sucked out a tongue at him. You wouldn't remember our names too if you thought it took even a little of your brain power. Ino teased. Shikamaru merely grunted, deciding it too much time and effort to answer Ino, and set his head into his arms, pretending to be asleep. HMPH. Lazy ass. Ino muttered before pointing to Sasuke. Now Sasuke. There's a real man. Ino told Shikamaru as if it would change something. Shikamaru just grunted from his arms, not bothering to reply. A second later a snore was heard from Shikamaru. He had fell asleep in class. Again. You really are hopeless. Ino cried, shaking her head. Ah well, you can't change everyone. She thought before staring dreamily at Sasuke, then back at Shikamaru. Sakura med as she sat herself next to a dark-looking boy. The boy nodded curtly before staring at Iruka again. Hey Sasuke, who's that guy Sakura's sitting next to? Naruto asked, unaware that Sasuke didn't like him at all. But rather than looking angry, Sasuke looked amused. This might be a pleasant change for once, Sasuke thought before replying, that's Shino, Dobe. What's a Dobe? And why do you keep calling me that? Naruto asked looking irritated. You're a Dobe and I call you Dobe because you are one. Sasuke explained, starting to smile a little when Naruto puffed up with anger. I'm starting to like this guy. Sasuke realized in a mixture of horror and disbelief. Oh yeah, well you're a... Naruto paused, trying to think up of a good comeback. An angst-ridden teenager that can't fight his way out of a paper bag, whispered something in Naruto's mind. Suddenly a smile made its way across Naruto's face. I knew this was a dream. Omniscient beings are a sure sign of a lucid dream. Naruto thought confidently, now more certain than ever that this was all just a long, weird, but cool dream. You're an angst-ridden teenager that can't fight his way out of a paper bag. Naruto retorted rather loudly. Sasuke looked at Naruto for a moment with wide surprised eyes. At first Naruto thought he was angry. Then he noticed the slight upward twitching of Sasuke's mouth and he sighed in relief. You know Naruto, you're not really such a Dobe after all. Sasuke said. Naruto pretended to blush and looked away. Of course that doesn't change the fact that you still are a Dobe. Sasuke. Naruto screeched, looking furious even though he still didn't know what the word Dobe meant. Naruto. Iruka yelled from the front of the room. Iruka was tapping his foot impatiently until Naruto finally looked at him with a surprised look that said, oh, you were talking to me. We're separating you into teams and if you don't sit down I'm going to put you on a team full of complete strangers. The threat worked and Naruto sat down pouting. Naruto-kun, Hinata thought, smiling slightly. Okay then. Here's what's going on. I will separate you into groups and you will meet your Junin sensei. Group 1. What's a Junin? Naruto whispered out of the corner of his mouth to Sasuke. Once again Sasuke smiled mysteriously. Not you Dobe, not something you'll ever be. He replied and once again Naruto puffed up in anger. What? I'll show you. I'll become a Junin. He screeched as he leapt into the air pointing at Sasuke. Iruka lost his place on the sheet and looked at Naruto incredulously. In fact, I'll become better than a Junin. I'll become a. Naruto stumbled along trying to find a word. President. No. Vice President. I don't think so, Manager. Heck no. The Hokage? Sasuke asked skeptically with a raised eyebrow. Yeah, I'll become the Hokage one day. And you'll have to recognize me then. Naruto shouted, breathing heavily as if he had been running a couple of miles. Right after Naruto said this he had the strangest sense of deja vu again. That speech was moving. If I haven't heard it 1,000 times before then I might have shed a tear. Sasuke replied, smirking at the befuddled expression on Naruto's face. Suddenly Naruto heard a soft clapping coming from the back of the room. Naruto turned around, expecting it to be some guy mocking him, but was surprised to see Hinata with her with admiration in her eyes and clapping softly, for him. Great, Iruka muttered, shaking his head. He only got 3 groups separated and there was still a whole lot more to go. This isn't public speaking class, Naruto. He shouted, waiting for Naruto to sit back down. When Naruto finally turned towards him, Iruka was surprised to see that there was moisture in his eyes. And thank Kami-sama it's not. Naruto replied before sitting back down with a wide smile on his face. I think I'm starting to get the hang of this language thing. Naruto thought. Okay then, now that we have that settled. Now where was I? Iruka narrowed his eyes as he went down onto his list. I'll sort Naruto first so he doesn't cause any more trouble. Iruka thought as he automatically skipped down some numbers. Naruto. Since you're so eager to see your new team I'll sort you first. Huh, what's this about a team? Naruto asked, looking from left to right for an answer. Naruto. Do you ever listen to anything the teacher says? Sakura cried, exasperated from the other side of the room. Besides Sakura, Shino winced. We're getting separated into teams of 3. We'll be Genin until we pass the Chunin exams and become Chunin. Aha, Naruto said, nodding his head even though he didn't understand a thing the girl said. She's crazy. Naruto whispered out of the corner of his mouth to Sasuke. You have no idea. Sasuke whispered back. Well Naruto, this is going to be your team until you pass the Chunin exam, so listen carefully. The team is Uzumaki Naruto. No really, Naruto muttered sarcastically. Besides him, Sasuke smirked. Iruka pretended not to hear, Aberrane Shino, and Hyuga Hinata. You a teammate. Somewhere behind Naruto someone let out a squeal of delight that was quickly stifled. Yes, Naruto exclaimed, jumping up for joy. I got Shino and Hinata. Naruto cried, pointing at Sasuke in triumph. Great, Sasuke said curtly, looking supremely unconcerned. The further you are from me the better. Sasuke, since you are so excited I'm guessing you want to know your teammates now. Iruka asked, sarcasm heavy in his voice. Well Sasuke, you are going to be in Team 7 with Haruno Sakura, and Inuzuka Kiba. Sasuke's mouth dropped open in disbelief. The moment I'm rid of Naruto I'm stuck with the second most annoying guy in this school and an overactive fangirl. Sasuke's right eyebrow twitched rapidly on its own accord. Apparently Kiba was thinking the something along the same lines of Sasuke, but he was a lot more vocal about it. What? He exclaimed, slamming his hands down on the table and standing up, looking disbelievingly at Iruka. How come I'm stuck with this crazy girl? Kiba jerked his head over at Sakura, who was daydreaming about something with a creepy smile on her face. One of Kiba's eyebrows twitched as he noticed this, but he shook it off. And that antisocial bastard. A white dog popped its head out of Kiba's jacket and barked in agreement. If you have a problem then come take it to me. Sasuke growled, not looking pleased at all. Though I doubt with your dog brain you could make a legitimate argument. What did you say, bastard? Kiba screeched from across the room. Hey, I got an idea. Naruto piped up as he looked from Kiba to Sasuke. The two boys paused to glare at Naruto. Surprisingly, Naruto was rubbing his temples as if he had a migraine. How about you both shut the hell up? You're driving me crazy and I don't even see how that's possible. Naruto-kun. Please. Hinata cried as she got into the conversation. Shino decided to sit and stare into space. It wasn't like he was insulted during this whole conversation. Iruka was shaking in anger. To say he was pissed off would be an understatement. He was downright furious. Shut up. Iruka roared, silencing everyone at once. Everyone, sit. Iruka. Iruka whirled around looking as if he would berate the person that interrupted him, but seeing who it was he smiled gratefully. You can't possibly know how thankful I am to see you here, Kurenai. Iruka exclaimed, looking relieved. These kids are driving me up the wall. Mostly Naruto over there. At this Naruto sat promptly down and was quickly followed by everyone else who was standing up. Well then you'll be happy to know that I'm quitting. Kurenai said, grinning ever so slightly. No way. Iruka stuttered out, looking horrified. I'm just joking around. Kurenai said, shaking her head slightly out of mirth. Iruka sighed, relived. So I understand I'm supposed to take Uzumaki Naruto, Hyuga Hinata, and Aberrane Shino into my group. She asked as she scanned the rows for anyone who had potential. That blonde boy looks clueless, I hope he's not on my team. Kurenai thought as she spotted the only blonde kid in the class. Yes, that's right, Iruka said thankfully before looking back at his students. Okay, teammate, please stand up and follow your Junin instructor. Iruka ordered. Slowly Uzumaki Naruto, Hyuga Hinata, and Aberrane Shino stood up and made their way down the aisles. No way, Kurenai thought in disbelief as the blonde boy approached her. Kurenai sighed before motioning towards the door. Today was going to be a long day. Cool. We're in a team now. Naruto said, jumping up and down in excitement. Trees surrounded the 3 genin and 3 white training posts were in the middle of the clearing. Kurenai massaged her head. She wasn't sure how Naruto got into her group. He was so talkative he didn't shut up for the whole while they were traveling to the training ground. So what are we going to do? Play tag. Sing some songs. Get married. At this comment Hinata blushed a deep red and looked away. Kurenai merely looked at Naruto in disbelief that was slowly shifting into outright anger. I was just kidding. Naruto said quickly as he noticed Kurenai's expression. Don't you realize why we're here? Kurenai asked slowly. Naruto's expression told her all that she needed to know. Putting it simply, we are ninjas. Cool. I'm a ninja. Go me. I'm a ninja. Go me. Naruto said, breaking into a dance. This dream just keeps getting weirder and weirder, but I like it. Make it stop. Shino muttered, looking more disturbed by the moment. Okay Naruto. We get it. Kurenai said rather loudly, looking concerned for Naruto. Naruto grinned sheepishly before sitting down. Okay, I'm ready. Naruto said, grinning like an idiot. Shino and Hinata both sat down besides him. Well, in Hinata's case, as close as Naruto as she could without him noticing. Good. Let's start out by introducing ourselves. I'll start. Kurenai cleared her tea as if she was preparing for a big speech. My name is Yuhi Kurenai. I like it when people don't comment on my age. I dislike open LS even more. My goal for the future is to make sure you guys get some decent training. Your turn. Oh, I'll go. Naruto exclaimed earnestly as he waved his hand wildly through the air. The name's Uzumaki Naruto. You guys can call me Naruto. Naruto grinned and light pinged off his teeth. Kurenai's eyes twitched slightly as she was reminded of a certain boy and his sensei. What I like is this dream. It's so realistic. I can't wait until I wake up and tell everyone about it. Naruto said, looking around sincerely. Suddenly Naruto's stomach growled. Even the hunger feels real. Oh yeah. I also love ramen. Now his teammates were really looking concerned for him. I think the hungers are real. Hinata said timidly. Naruto, can we please get through this without any more interruptions? Kurenai asked, looking wearily at the boy. I want to get through this and explain the next test. Right then, Naruto said, nodding at his sensei. I dislike this guy called John. At this, Naruto's eyes darkened immediately, freaking irritated jock. He muttered, ignoring the way everyone stared at him. My goal is, hey. Short-term or long-term goal? Naruto asked, stopping once again. I don't care. Kurenai said, though gritted teeth. She had to deal with some pretty annoying guys before, but none so irritating as Naruto. Kakashi would give him a run for his money though, Kurenai thought, smiling slightly at the thought of the Led Junin. And then there's Asuma. Okay, my goal is to become the Hokage. Naruto said, beaming at Kurenai. Hinata smiled shyly at Naruto and blushed when Naruto grinned at her. A boy that has an almost impossible dream, also an idiot. Kurenai thought, classifying the blonde immediately. Hinata, what about you? Oh. Hinata looked away and looked into the air dreamily. I like T to P press F flowers. I dislike P people who look D down on O others. Hinata's blush suddenly increased and she looked down her feet in embarrassment. My goal is T to become W worthy of my C clan and S something else. Hinata snuck a peek at Naruto before staring at her feet again and pushing her fingers together. A love-struck girl who wants to prove herself. I don't blame her. The Hyugas are a hard clan to please. Kurenai thought sympathetically. She saw just how hard they were when they demanded that Hinata be on her genin team when they deemed her not worthy of being the heir. Kurenai shook her head. Some people in this world, she thought angrily. It was only when Shino started his low droning did she look up again. My name? Aburame Shino. My likes, bugs, my dislikes, none. So far, Shino looked at Naruto significantly before continuing. My goal, to become the heir to my clan. Naruto looked at Shino with confusion. I don't get this guy at all. Shino glared at Naruto until he looked away. I don't really think I like this guy either. The most calculating one on the team, Kurenai smiled. It seemed that everyone on her team had a major flaw. Shino was too stolid, Hinata was too shy, and Naruto was he was too clueless. It would be impossible for them to pass the test she was going to give them. That is unless they worked together. Okay then. Now that we all know each other, I have something to tell you. You are not genin yet. Kurenai said, and surprisingly no one showed any surprise. So they all have prior knowledge about this. Kurenai thought, surprised and impressed. Unfortunately this didn't last long as Naruto burst out, but was still ninja right. Both Shino and Hinata looked at Naruto with different expressions. Shino was stolid as usual, but one of his eyebrows rose imperceptibly. Hinata looked like she was about to cry and smile at the same time. Honestly, how did this guy pass the exams? Shino thought, unimpressed with Naruto. No Naruto, you three are not genin yet. Kurenai said slowly because Naruto was starting to look lost. Okay then, Naruto said, deciding to go along rather than interrupting. Good choice, Kit. Growled something within his mind. Hey thanks. Wait, what the heck? Naruto thought, looking more confused than ever. He started to look around to find the speaker, but no one was there other than Hinata, who was staring at Kurenai with worry, and Shino, who was just staring. Naruto didn't think any of them whispered to him. You three have to pass the test to become a genin. I will warn you that only out of all the genin teams only 7 make it to become official genins. All the others are sent back to the academy. Don't worry though, Kurenai said, noticing the shocked look on Hinata's face. Shino only looked at her stoically while Naruto was looking up into the sky, confused. What the heck is Naruto doing? Kurenai thought in bewilderment before continuing. You all might pass. I'm going to make a special test for you 3 to make sure your skills are suitable for my area of expertise. Just rest up for the test tomorrow and you'll do fine. Kurenai assured the 3. Meet me here at 7 tomorrow. Kurenai said before disappearing in a whirl of leaves. Right before she disappeared, she heard Naruto shout out, "Cool. You can do that here." That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.